What's going on, guys? My name's Caffrey, and in today's video we're going to be breaking down the one skill that your favorite pro players, streamers, and content creators have that most people don't. We're going to be going through 3 parts that make up the skill, so you're going to want to make sure that you stick around to the end, because if you miss even one part, it could be the reason that you don't improve as fast as you could. Now, I know some other get better at first-person shooter videos talk a lot about theory on how to improve, but rarely do they give you clear things that you can implement and execute to get better today. So not only are we going to be talking about the 3 parts that make up the skill, but I'll be breaking down gameplay, showing visuals on screen that explain exactly what I'm talking about, and afterwards give you a few things that you can actually implement today to start improving. So what is this skill that's so important? And that is big picture thinking. So what is big picture thinking? It's being able to take all of the information that's available to you and piece together a good idea of where players are on the map and how you want to play accordingly. This skill is the reason that good players that have been playing Call of Duty for years often get accused of cheating or using wall hacks. Now sure, don't get me wrong, some of them probably are cheating, but there are a lot of really skilled players that can keep track of everything that's going on and use it to predict where enemies are going to be or where they're going to be coming from. Alright, so let's get into the 3 parts that you need to understand to put together a good mental picture of what's going on in your match. Number 1, you need to know where the primary, secondary, and the relief spawns are on whatever map that you're playing. This plays a really big part in being able to predict where players are going to be and where they're coming from. You also need to be paying attention for spawn flips so that you know when to change directions and watch your back. This is why high-skilled players or people that group up have such a huge advantage, because they can establish map control and make sure that the enemies are always spawning in front of them. So if we take a look at the Nuketown minimap, your obvious and primary spawns are going to be here, and obviously here and here. Sometimes you can get secondary spawns up in here, and then you have relief spawns that are over here on the yellow car and over here on the Jeep. And players get pushed to the relief spawns when none of the primary or secondary spawns are safe because there's an enemy in that zone. You always want to be aware of where your teammates are at and where the enemies are spawning, and you want to envision an imaginary line in their spawn that you never want to cross, because if you do, that's when a spawn flip could happen. This is how you end up getting shot in the back and losing your streak. Number 2, you need to at least have some basic map knowledge of the map you're playing on. You need to understand the map flow, sight lines, and pieces of cover combined with the spawn knowledge so you can traverse the map safely and avoid areas where you're going to be shot from multiple angles. This can also help you pick isolated fights so you can get a clean 1v1 instead of getting caught in a 1v2 or worse. This also helps you more successfully and safely run flank routes so you can pop up where the enemies least expect you. And number 3 is all the secondary information that the game gives you, like being able to read the minimap, paying attention to when your teammates die and the skull pops up, or even just reading the kill feed. You need to pay attention to the minimap and the kill feed to understand where players might be, but also how many enemy players just died and might be spawning. For example, if you see in the kill feed that your teammates just killed 3 enemies, you know there's a good chance there's at least 3 more that are somewhere near the middle of the map, and with the knowledge of the previous 2 parts we talked about, you can put together a pretty good idea of where those other 3 people are going to be spawning at, and using that information to decide how we want to move through the map and take fights. Let's break down some gameplay to show you specific examples of all of these skills. But before we do that, if you're enjoying the video, drop a like for me and consider subscribing for more first-person shooter content. Alright, now let's break down a gameplay that I recorded on the map Drive-In, where I was able to go 33-9 with a 3.67 KD. Now, if you don't know, the primary spawns on this map are back here, and when a team is occupying both of those areas and it's not safe to spawn in the primary or secondary, the relief spawns are on the sides of the map right here. Alright, so right away we noticed that we spawned in late to the game. You see the score is 9-15. If we pause it real quick, we can see almost all of our teammates are right around this building, and 1 or 2 of them has just died right here. So it doesn't really give us a whole lot of information yet. Now, 2 more of our teammates have died right here on the minimap, so we know that there's at least 1 enemy down this left-hand side of the map. And right there, you can see on the minimap, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 enemy pings just gave themselves away. So we have somebody right here in this little building, we have 1 back here in this building, 1 somewhere in the back here, and then 2 down this left-hand side. And as we were crossing here, we were checking to see if there's an enemy in this little sniper's window up here. So we're going to take cover in this vehicle and see if this guy's going to peek his head out right here. And he does, and we take him out. Now, I know that there are 2 more enemies somewhere in this back right area, so we're going to check this window and make sure it's safe to walk up. Now that we've made it safely almost into their spawn, you can see 1 red dot pops up here, and then there's another one somewhere probably down the side, maybe in this building. So we're going to go up the stairs, peek the window, and see if we can get any more information and maybe take somebody out. So right there, somebody pops up on the minimap. We know there's somebody over here, probably in this window since they're firing. We can see their gun, we can take them out. Now, after they're dead, you'll notice there's still a dot on the minimap. So we know there's at least one person there still. So we're gonna go down here, check their spawn, and right here we see our teammates kill 2 enemies. So now we're waiting to see if they're gonna spawn in their primary spawn back here, because if they don't, that means that they're gonna spawn over here in the relief spawns. And remember, we do have one other person right here to contend with that was still on the minimap when they were firing. So we check it, all things clear. It doesn't look like they're spawning here, so we're good to push up. We take them out. All right, so we jump up here, look out the window, do a quick look around, try to see if we can get any more information, and then I'm gonna get out of Dodge real quick because I'm on the enemy side all by myself. Now, I do get caught out here trying to get out of Dodge, but apparently they're terrible and they miss every bullet. This person has no clue that I'm there. So I try to snake my way out of there. Ended up taking one out, and this person caught me off guard and I ended up dying. The next thing that we need to pay attention to is where we spawn, because that's going to give us a lot of information about where the enemies are at. Okay, so now we've spawned in one of the primary spawns in the back side of the map here. Let's take a look at where our teammates are at, see if we can piece together a good idea where the enemies might be. All right, so it looks like we got 3 of our teammates over here. One of them's up here somewhere. Another one just died right here, and then one of them spawned here. So pretty good bet that we got some enemies down this right-hand side and in the back here. Again, checking that sniper window to see if anyone's there. There's one. We kind of play chicken. He comes at me with the knife and we take him out. Now, right here, perfect example. Someone just pinged right here on the map, so I know there's someone back in their spawn. Go ahead and take him out. And there's still another enemy back here, so we're going to go ahead and try and take this person out. But we're going to look around and make sure that it's safe to do so, because there could be 3 of them sitting back here waiting. Managed to get around him. He has no clue here. Hit him with the execution, because of course we have to be disrespectful. Now, if we pause and take a look at the minimap here, we see all of our teammates kind of in this back building right here, and one teammate that just died up in here. So there's a good chance the entire enemy team is in this back right area. So we're peeking through the window, trying to get more intel. We catch one of the snipers in the overlooking window. And this whole time, we're trying to keep account, we're trying to keep a running mental tab of where our teammates are at, where they're dying, and where we're spawning, because all of that information gives us clues on where the enemies could be. Now, as we go back into this side of the map, there's a good chance that there's enemies back here. We catch one. And again, that's solely based on where our teammates are. We hear footsteps inside the building. That one's a dead giveaway. I don't know where he's running to. They just destroyed the field mic we planted, so we know there's someone up there. He's oblivious because he's sniping. All right, now pause. If you look at our minimap, all of our teammates are back here. We're up here by ourselves, and we have one other teammate behind us. And if we look back at the kill feed, 2 of the enemies just died recently. So there's a good chance they're going to pop up and spawn here. So that's what we're looking for. We see one, runs out. We ended up earning our war machine right there. Now we're trying to take angles and not be in the same place, but we're still looking for people to spawn back there. There's another one. Didn't manage to pick him off. So all of our teammates are still back in this main spawn area, and we're kind of pushed up here by ourselves. So we're still expecting more enemies to spawn either in these primary and secondary spawns or possibly over here in the relief spawns. So we're just trying to wait and get a look and see. There's one coming after us. We take him out. Now we're going to get on the roof, take height, use it to our advantage, get some information, drop a field mic. Our teammate takes out that guy for us. That was great. Now, unfortunately, we get picked off by the sniper across the map. All right, so now we want to take into account where we've spawned, because we're in one of the relief spawns, and we're spawning right here where we actually left our field mic before. Taking into account where our teammates are at, we have 3 of them over here with us, and we have a couple in the back here. There's a good chance that the enemies are going to be along this right-hand side here, and potentially even just a little bit closer to us in this building. So with that information, we're going to go ahead and push out, and we're going to expect an enemy. We got a UAV ping there, which actually really helped out. So we know there's 2 or 3 enemies up here. This person pops up out of nowhere. They must have cold-blooded on. We snap on them. We end up getting the kill. And now we know this person's still back here because they're appearing on the mini-map. And it looks like they're AFK. So now we're going to go ahead and break out our war machine and our harp together so that we don't die with it. And at this point, it's almost self-explanatory. We know exactly where everyone's at. Now, if you pause, you can actually see exactly what I'm talking about because my harp is up, so you can see where all the enemies are at. So our whole team is down this side right here. And then we have one guy right here looking into their primary spawn. So all of the enemies have to spawn in this relief spawn area, and you can see that's exactly where they are. Now, hopefully breaking down the gameplay and giving specific examples in-game help to better explain the concept of big picture thinking. Now, before we end the video, I want to give you 3 things that you can practice and work on today to start getting better. Number 1, you need to start learning the spawns. But if you want to speed up the process, especially in Black Ops Cold War, I highly recommend using the Forward Intel perk. This does 2 things. 1, it zooms out on the minimap so you can see more and get more information. And 2, it'll actually put a little ping on your minimap when somebody spawns, so you can see exactly when and where the enemies are respawning. Now, you can play with this perk on all the time, but I recommend using it to learn the spawns and build that game sense, and once you're comfortable with it, switching it back out for a different perk. The second thing you need to do is to go into every match consciously focusing on one skill that you want to improve on, whether it's learning the spawns, the map flow, reading the kill feed, or reading the minimap for where your teammates and the enemies are at. And the last thing that you need to work on is, once you're comfortable and feel like you have a good grasp of most of these skills, is go into every single match and try to predict exactly where enemies are going to be and where their spawns will be. You should be testing yourself on how many times that you can properly read spawns and predict when an enemy is going to show up in front of you. And your goal should be to get so good at big picture thinking and understanding that you get accused of cheating.
I don't want to be in this game. That guy is fucking cheating. He's cheating!
But that's all I got for this video. If you enjoyed it, drop a like. If you have any tips that helped you improve, leave them down below in the comments section. Consider subscribing for more first-person shooter content. As always, have a good morning. My name's Caffrey, and I'll see you in the next video.